What's going on, guys? HK Titan here with a brand new video for you guys. But first things first, as always, I hope you guys are having an amazing day. So in today's video, we're going to be jumping back into our 3-part Dartling Gunner 2 Tower Chimps walkthrough slash playthrough slash guide. And for the third part, we're going to be doing the 2 Towers Chimps with the Prince of Darkness and the Ray of Doom. The reason why I saved this one for last is because this one is probably the most frustrating, as well as probably the hardest out of all of the Dartling Gunners. The only reason why it's hard is because you're not able to actually afford the Ray of Doom until super late game. So there's a lot of micro and all of that fun stuff involved, which is kind of frustrating if you're someone much like myself that's just absolutely terrible at micro. But enough about that. Let's go ahead and jump into the guide. So what we are going to do is we're going to start off much similar to what we've done in the past. We're going to place this Wizard Monkey in a center platform here. We're going to go ahead and press play. So the first round that gets a little bit intense is going to be round 8. We're going to need to swap our Wizard Monkey over to targeting strong and then switch it back over to targeting first. There's not a lot of micro that you actually need to do with the Wizard Monkey himself. There's only one round where you actually need to micro, and then that's pretty much it. Alright, now round 7, we're going to go ahead and buy Intense Magic, and then we are going to be able to beat round 7 with no issues. One thing I did want to say, guys, is that if at any point you guys are going to have a balloon slip through, feel free to do a home reset, because again, this is not for an actual Chimps guide. This is more for just getting the 2 Towers Chimps achievement, and of course with this achievement it will actually not affect your progress if you do home reset at any given point in time throughout the entirety of this guide. Alright, so round 8 is where we're going to need to do a little bit of micro. We're going to swap our Wizard Monkey over to targeting strong as soon as this green balloon hits this bottom left hand corner. So let's go ahead and switch over to targeting strong. And then once these red balloons reach this corner down here, or the green balloon reaches the bottom corner, we're going to go ahead and swap our Wizard Monkey back over to targeting strong. And now we are going to be good to go for the rest of round 8, and we can go ahead and speed things back up. Now, with the Wizard Monkey, there is a little bit of RNG in play as far as once we get the Wall of Fire, as well as the explosion that the Fireball does with the Wizard Monkey. So just keep that in the back of your mind, because on round 11, you may have one red balloon that might slip through. So just to make sure that you guys are aware of the RNG that actually comes with the center tier Wizard Monkey, just be sure that you guys are paying attention to all that fun stuff, and you guys will be perfectly fine. Alright, so round 10 is going to be super easy for our Wizard Monkey to handle. Again, we're just saving up for the Wall of Fire, so we're pretty much just going to be chilling up until, I think, towards the end of round 11, beginning of round 12 is when we can afford to buy the Wall of Fire. But while we are saving up to buy the Wall of Fire, I just want to take this time to say thank you guys so much for clicking on the video. I really appreciate it. Also, I want to take this time to thank you guys for the support that you guys have given on the channel so far. Support over the past couple of days and weeks have been absolutely amazing. We are almost at 3,400 subscribers, so again, thank you guys so very much. I also wanted to do something that I have not done in quite some time, and I would actually like to hear some feedback from you guys on what you guys would like to see different about the channel, or what you guys feel could use an improvement. Like if you guys want to hear different commentary, if you guys think something's wrong with the video. Again, I do take all feedback extremely serious, because of course the channel would be nowhere near where it is now if I didn't take feedback extremely serious. Right, guys, we are in round 14. We officially have the Wall of Fire, and we also have Monkey Sense. The next thing that we are going to go for is we're going to be going for the Dartling Gunner. Again, guys, I do want you to keep in the back of your mind that because we're using the Wall of Fire Wizard Monkey, there is a little bit of RNG in play. So just make sure you guys are paying attention to this bottom track here. If any balloons slip through, just press the settings button or the escape button if you're playing on PC. Then just press home and then restart the round by just continuing your Chimps mode, and that's it. And that's all you need to do, because it'll go ahead and reset the round, and you'll have a little bit of different RNG when you're actually using the Wizard Monkey. Alright, perfect. So let's see here. We're going to go ahead and save up. We are currently saving up for the Dartling Gunner, so as soon as we can afford to buy the Dartling Gunner, we're going to go ahead and buy it. But as soon as we actually get the Prince of Darkness and we get the tier 4 Dartling Gunner, this strategy is extremely good all the way up until round 70 is when we need to start doing micro, but it's not like super crazy micro where you need to be like pixel perfect. The only time where things start getting really intense is round 76, round 77, and 78. Though, or not, I'm not sure why I was saying 70, but round 96, round 97, and 98. Those are the roughest rounds for this 2-tower chimp strat. And it's all because you need to make sure that you are microing the right Moabs. You need to make sure that you don't pop too many Moabs at once, because if you do pop too many Moabs at once, you will actually end up overwhelming the Prince of Darkness, and the Prince of Darkness will not be able to pop every single reinforced or super ceramic that ends up coming out of the reinforced BFBs, especially on round 98. But again, round 98 is pretty much the hardest round of this entire strat. Round 99 is actually a breeze. I'm not worried about round 99, and I'm not worried about round 100 either. Round 95 is super easy as well. Round 93 and, well, pretty much anything that's before round 96 is going to be a cakewalk. But like I was saying, you do need to start doing some micro around round 70. Alright guys, now that we have the laser shot, the faster barrel spin, the next thing that we're going to do is we're just going to be saving up for Shimmer and then the Necromancer unpopped army. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of a fast forward bit until round 40, and then I'll go ahead and bring you guys back on round 40. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and bring you back towards the end of round 39, and as you guys can see, we can officially afford to buy the laser cannon, so we're going to go ahead and buy the laser cannon. We're also going to switch it over to normal, because we are going to micro round 40 to go ahead and do enough damage to this Moab balloon. That way we can go ahead and do enough damage to the Moab balloon so the Necromancer can finish dealing with the balloons that are inside of the Moab balloon. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to lock our Dartling Gunner back in place, so he is targeting the left side here, because we don't want the Necromancer, or the Dartling Gunner to take an insane amount of pops away from the Dartling, or not, we don't want the Dartling Gunner to take an insane amount of pops away from our Necromancer, because of course we want the Necromancer to have a couple of balloons in reserve to go ahead and help pop any lead balloons that pop on screen or anything crazy like that. Because, of course, the Dartling Gunner cannot pop lead balloons, upgrade to the tier 4 upgrade path. So, to make sure that we're able to deal with the lead balloons and stuff like that, we just want to make sure that the Wizard Monkey does have some pops in, or some balloons in his graveyard to make sure that we're able to deal with like the lead balloons as well as purple balloons, because as you guys may have just saw, the laser cannon will not pop purple balloons either. So to make sure that we're able to deal with all of the balloons that are coming on screen at any given point in time, we're going to go ahead and make sure that we keep the Necromancer unpopped graveyard full of balloons. Alright guys, what I'm going to do is I am not going to be microing anything except for the Moab balloons. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fast forward to the point where we can afford to buy the Prince of Darkness. Again, the only time that we will do micro is if a blue Moab balloon pops on screen. Then the only thing we're going to do is we're going to swap our Dartling Gunner over to targeting normal, and then we'll just follow the Moab balloons until the Moab balloons popped, and then the Necromancer unpopped army is going to be able to deal with those deal with the balloons that come out of the blue Moabs. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and fast forward. I'll see you guys in just a couple of seconds. Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and bring you back on round 4. As you guys can see, we now have $26,000, so we can afford to buy the Prince of Darkness. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and permanently lock our Dartling gunner into this position over here on the left. More specifically, we want to lock it so it's directly in the center of this pathway. Now you guys will understand once we save up the money to buy the Plasma Accelerator why I choose to make sure that the Dartling gunner is focusing on the center of the pathway. But what we're going to do is, again, we're going to fast forward to the point where we can afford to upgrade our Dartling gunner to the tier 4 upgrade pass. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and bring you back on round 60 because now we can officially afford to buy the Plasma Accelerator. And now what we're going to do with the Plasma Accelerator is we are going to lock it in place right here in the center of the pathway. And what this is going to do is it's going to damage the blue Moab balloons enough so that the Prince of Darkness can actually finish them off. And what it's going to do for the Prince of Darkness is it's going to keep his graveyard full of balloons, which is exactly which is the ideal situation for the Prince of Darkness, because we don't need to worry about the blue balloons making it too far, or we don't need to worry about the blue balloons not being popped by the Prince of Darkness, because the Plasma Accelerator does do enough damage to them to pretty much make them so the Prince of Darkness can like one-shot them. Alright guys, what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to fast forward until round 71, and then I'll go ahead and bring you guys back because that's when we're going to start doing a little bit of micro with the Dartling gunner. So I'll see you guys here in just a couple more seconds. So guys, it is officially round 71, and as you guys can see, we're getting more and more Moab balloons. So what we are going to do from round 71 is we are pretty much just going to be doing damage to Moab balloons, and we are going to try and refrain ourselves from doing too much damage to ceramic balloons and any balloons like that, because again, we need to make sure that we keep our Prince of Darkness's graveyard stacked with balloons. So this is where things are going to get a little bit more interesting, because like I was saying, we need to keep the Prince of Darkness's graveyard stacked with balloons. So we're going to do that by only damaging Moab balloons. So this is why this Dartling gunner strat is like super hard, is because one, we're only going to be dealing with a tier 4 and one tier 5 for round 90 until round 98. So right there we are at a massive disadvantage. So like I've been stressing, it's super important that we keep our Prince of Darkness stacked with balloons in his graveyard, just to make sure that the Prince of Darkness is able to deal with all of the ceramic balloons, because unfortunately the plasma ray is not enough to deal with the ceramic balloons by himself without an insane amount of micro. Alright, so round 76 is a little bit troublesome because you have all of these regrow ceramics, but pretty much just try your best to focus them down as much as you can. As long as your plasma ray can focus them down enough, then it shouldn't be too hard to deal with them. But again, like I'm saying, we're just gonna keep the plasma ray doing damage to all of the Moab balloons for the next few rounds. The main thing that you're going to be focusing on is you are going to be focusing on the massive rushes of the ceramic balloons, as well as keeping the red electricity surrounding the Moab balloons. So when you get like massive rushes of Moab balloons, you just want to make sure that you have this electricity that's doing damage over time to the Moab balloons, and then the Prince of Darkness is going to be able to come through and finish off whatever balloons that come out of the Moab balloons. Alright, so we can go ahead and let the Prince of Darkness fill up his graveyard by popping all of these rainbow balloons. Then we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of damage to the BFBs here, which it honestly shouldn't take too long for you to actually pop them, because the plasma beam does do quite a bit of damage to the moab balloons themselves. Even these reinforced BFBs really don't even stand a chance. Alright, perfect. We're absolutely crushing it. Round 79. Of course, we have round 80 next. So again, we're just going to go ahead and follow the ZOMG with our Plasma Ray all the way until we pop the ZOMG. Then we're going to pop the BFBs. And then, of course, we're going to deal with the Moab balloons that come out of the BFBs as well. So while I am going through these rounds, I want to take this time to, again, thank you guys one more time. And also, if you guys found this guide enjoyable, or if you guys want to support the channel and stuff like that, please feel free to drop a like on the video. It does help me out and making the video a little bit more discoverable and all of that other fun stuff. So if you guys did like it, again, please feel free to drop a like. But if you guys don't, it's not that big a deal either. Alright, cool. So round 81, I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through these next few rounds all the way up until round 95. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring you guys back on round 95. Alright guys, I'm actually going to bring you back on round 94 because this is the prime example of what we're actually doing with the plasma monkey here. Is we are actually trying to keep the red lightning on all of the Moab balloons at the same time from where I last left you guys off, all the way up until round 95. Round 96 and higher, we need to be a little bit more strategic about which balloons we pop, and then of course we need to make sure that we're doing a little bit of damage to these super ceramics at the same time, because we do want to make it easier for our Prince of Darkness to actually pop them. Now the next thing that's going to be extremely important is we do need to pop these ZOMGs super fast. We're going to go ahead and speed things up just a little bit. But for the most part, I have been playing in slow-mo because I want to make sure that I'm able to keep track of what balloons are where. Now the ceramic balloons are making it a little bit further than we would like, so we're going to switch it back over to slow-mo to make sure that we don't let any balloons slip through. Because if any balloons do make it past our Prince of Darkness, we need to go ahead and hurry up and do a home reset and then redo the round. Odds are when we get to round 98, I will need to do at least 1 or 2 home resets because it's extremely intricate when it comes to actually focusing on all of the different Moabs, especially the BFBs and the Moab balloons. Because if you pop too many at once, you're going to get overran with super ceramics. If you don't pop them fast enough, you're going to get overrun by the Moab balloons. And it's just like it's just a super rough round, because you're also going to end up buying the Ray of Doom on round 98. Which is again why this is a little bit of a harder strategy to pull off. But as you guys can see, I'm just keeping the lightning on all of these Moab balloons as well as the DDTs as well, just to make sure that I'm doing that little bit of damage to the Moab balloons, and it's going to allow our Prince of Darkness's zombified balloons to go ahead and finish off the DDTs and pretty much finish off round 95. All right, let's do a little bit more damage to these ceramic balloons, and we can go ahead and deal with them. Now, round 96, we're going to go ahead and pretty much the same exact thing. We're just doing damage to the reinforced Moab balloons as well as the BFBs at the same time, because we need to go ahead and not pop all of them, but pop a good portion of them to go ahead and allow our Prince of Darkness to refill his graveyard, because again, we need to make sure that the Prince of Darkness's graveyard stays stacked, especially for round 97 and 98. If the Prince of Darkness does not have a decent amount of balloons in his graveyard, then it's pretty much going to make round 97 and round 98 impossible. Alright, let's go ahead and slow it down, because we are getting massive rushes of ceramic balloons here. We're going to go ahead and focus the plasma ray on these ceramic balloons to go ahead and make sure that we are able to deal with those ceramic balloons. Alright, so now the main focus here is we want to pop one ZOMG while doing damage to the second ZOMG as well, but we want to focus a majority of our damage over to the first ZOMG before we start to focus on the second one. As you guys can see, we are doing damage to both of them right now, but the front one is actually more damage than the back one, and the reasoning behind that is because we want to pop the reinforced BFBs and the reinforced Moabs that come out of the first ZOMG before the second ZOMG actually pops. Let's go ahead and slow it down just a little bit to make sure that we're keeping track of the super ceramics. Awesome. And now we're going to go ahead and fast forward again. We'll go ahead and finish off this second ZOMG. The reason why we did it like that is because the Prince of Darkness was running out of balloons in his graveyard. So in order to refill the balloons that were in the graveyard, we need to go ahead and allow our Prince of Darkness to pop some of the reinforced ceramic balloons. Alright, so this is where things are going to get a little bit complicated, because we do not want to pop too many of these BFBs at once. We basically want to take it like one or two at a time. And it's going to get extremely close here, guys. Alright, so as you guys can see, I'm just going to occasionally start damaging all of the BFBs, but again, I do not want to damage too many of them at once, because if we start getting massive rushes of the reinforced Moab balloons, it's going to make our lives very rough. The main thing that we're going to end up doing is we're going to end up popping all of the reinforced BFBs before we start popping the ZOMGs. Then you guys will see that as we start going through here. Again, we need to make sure that we constantly do damage to the reinforced Moab balloons as well as the reinforced BFBs. Alright, as you guys can probably tell, the balloons are starting to make it pretty far. Like, they're to the bottom right-hand corner right now, and we haven't even started to damage the reinforced ZOMGs yet. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'll put a little bit of damage to these ZOMGs right now, because the last balloons that we're going to end up popping are actually going to be the reinforced ZOMGs themselves. Alright, so again, this is where things are going to get super tight towards the end of us actually popping all of the reinforced Moab balloons. So if we see any super cerams actually make it past the BFBs or the undead BFBs, we need to make sure that we help our Prince of Darkness actually deal with them. Alright, and we are officially $2,000 away from being able to afford the Ray of Doom. And again, it's going to be super tight. We're going to end up popping a couple of ceramic balloons that end up leaking through our Prince of Darkness with the actual Ray of Doom itself, if I'm able to pull it off like I have in the past. Alright, so let's go ahead and start doing a little bit more damage to these BFBs. Trying not to overwhelm our Prince of Darkness at the same time. As you guys are seeing, it's a very tedious round. And we are almost there, guys. We are almost there. Perfect. Now we can officially afford to buy the Ray of Doom. And now we will focus on finishing off round 98. And we can go ahead and speed things back up. I'm actually super surprised I was able to do that on the first try, because usually it takes me anywhere between 2 to 3 tries to actually get the timing down correctly, because it's a little bit finicky when it comes to not damaging all of the Moab balloons to the point where you're sending a massive rush of super ceramics, and it's also super finicky trying to do enough damage to the ZOMGs. So you're able to pop the ZOMGs at the right time to where the Prince of Darkness can keep its graveyard filled with the undead balloons. But as you guys saw, we were able to, I don't want to say perfectly pull it off, but we did a pretty decent job at pulling it off this time, especially when we were recording. That was actually pretty cool. But anyways, guys, we're going to go ahead and finish off this bad balloon. As you guys can see, there we go. We officially got the Ray of Doom, making it the third 2 towers chimps that we're able to do with the Dartling gunner itself. This was a really fun 2 tower chimps to strategize with, because the Ray of Doom is so expensive. It was super tight in order to actually be able to get the 118,000 to afford the Ray of Doom. But anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the video, please feel free to drop a like. Also, if you guys haven't subscribed yet, please feel free to subscribe as well. I do upload quite a bit of BTD6 content. And as always, I hope you guys have the most amazing day of your lives. And I will see you guys in the next one.